Good morning. This is Renee, your San Francisco Bay gardener, coming to you with the 20th video for the square foot garden. Just wanted to show you what has happened so far. Here are the butter crunch lettuces that I transplanted from the Cage Garden last week. And they're doing very well. I'm glad that I moved them. And I harvested from these plants yesterday. So they're getting nice and big. And this, if you're thinking about growing butter crunch lettuce, you could maybe get two stalks per square if you wanted to put them in tight. But I didn't want that, so I'm just gonna leave the two in there. And I'm going to cover it up as soon as I put you guys on pause because I don't want the cabbage moths to get to them. And here are the seeds. The seedlings are coming up from where I planted, let me see, maybe 10 days ago. These are the carrots coming up in the center there, and spinach. Of course, my garlic chives. And right there next to the garlic chives are the, let me see, romaine lettuce coming up there. They're doing very well. Banana peppers. I harvested them on Monday. Today is Thursday. Still have some coming up. They're doing very well. This is October, and that seems to be the month here for our peppers. And here are my radishes coming up, and my collard plants. I only did about I think maybe 4 plants, but only 2 are coming up. I only really wanted 1 plant per square, so that seems to be working out. And I probably will have to cover some of these eventually because I don't want the cabbage moths to get to them either. And I have 1 little onion coming up right there. So nothing over there next to the basil. Okay, so this is the start of the next garden, and I just wanted to give you guys a review of what we've done so far this year in this square foot garden. I'll put you on pause. Okay, I'm back. I wanted to show you my new addition to my garden. You know, Amazon had their Prime Day on the 10th and 11th, and this bench here was almost half price. So I got it, and I love it. I've had 2 knee replacements, and this thing is just the right height. And I really like the little pocket bags that they have hanging from the side. So I think that if you can catch it on sale, that is a good garden bench for anybody who has bad knees, because you don't have to sit too low. And it's, kind of cute. And I moved this bench down from the top, and I have a little chair that I got from the Urban Ore Salvage company in Emeryville. I've added that to the garden. So I'm just going to sit down and talk to you about this square foot garden that I've been working on since the spring of this month. Not this month, this year. All right, first of all, If you're new to my channel, thank you for joining me. And if you're coming back, thank you for coming every week. I post once a week, and that's enough for me. I don't want a lot of content. So anyway, I am in hardiness zone 9B and 10A. And what that is the hardiness zone represents your average, your first frost. Your last frost and first frost of the year. And you can Google it if you don't know what your hardiness zone is. You can Google it and just put down what is my hardiness zone for, and then you give your zip code and it will tell you. And if you know your zone, your planting zone, sometimes it's called that, hardiness zone, then you can find out a lot about what you can grow, when you can grow it, and so on. I'm also in sunset zone 17, and that's determined by the average highest and lowest temperature in your area. And so zone 17, we get down, our lowest temperature is from 36 to 23 degrees on average. And our highs are from 60 to 75 degrees. Now, like today, it's supposed to get up to 90 degrees, which is not usual for us. But, it says on average. So I watered everything yesterday, and it seems to still be okay. So I'll check everything this evening to see if it needs to be watered again, but I think we're okay. This garden right here, I'm showing you, everything's planted in the ground, which is not my usual practice. I usually have a lot of containers. This raised bed here has, I think it's called hardware cloth underneath it, because we have gophers. And the other two reasons why most of our plants are in containers or raised beds is because we have this rocky soil. If you go down 1 inch, you hit rock. Every time you dig, there's a rock. So we don't really want to deal with that. No dig planting, no dig gardening helps a lot, and that's where you just bring in dirt and put it on some cardboard, lay cardboard down, and put new dirt on top, and that's what I did here. So we didn't have to dig anything, but that can be expensive too. So it's either going to be no dig gardening for us or planting in containers. But so far the gophers have left this side of the yard alone. I'll show you what the gophers usually do to our garden. Okay, this is a sign of a gopher. They'll just dig a hole, and you'll see a big mound. You never see the hole, but you just see a big pile of dirt underneath. Depending on what you've grown, they could dig up your plants, or they will eat the roots. So we'll have a big mound there. Believe it or not, this raised bed here has a bottom to it, but they tried to dig through that. There was a big mound, two big mounds of dirt right there at the end of that raised bed, but they couldn't go any farther, so they gave up. But we had to smooth everything back out and put some more tan bark over it. So anyway, I'm back, and you'll see my flower raised bed where we were just overlooking at the gopher bin. It is winding down. I keep saying I'm going to cut some of those things back, deadhead them. I just haven't had the time. So anyway, I just wanted to start with the successes that I've had in this raised bed, thanks to the Lord. We had really good production from strawberries, and they were at the end of this raised bed here. I had 2 plants originally, and when I decided to pull them out because my dog Chewy kept pulling all of the strawberries out, I separated them, put them in 6 different pots. Well, no, 4 different pots. So we have 4 plants here, and then my son took 2 plants. So the strawberries were a big success. Spinach and lettuce, we had great success with that. We started with 2 plants in a square foot, and there were 2 plants of lettuce in the cage garden. And in the spinach, I originally had 4 plants. We harvested twice a week, and we were able to get so much spinach that we got sick and tired of spinach. So we started giving it away. And I didn't remember, I didn't think about I could have cooked it and frozen it, but next year I will. Let me see. Another success we had was tomatoes. We had 3 plants of tomatoes, and those were a great success. I froze some, gave a lot of it away, most of it away, because we don't really eat tomatoes. I'm going to make salsa out of the tomatoes that we froze. But 3 plants were enough. And I forgot to tell you, there's only 2 of us here at the house, so we don't need a lot. So if you have a small family, you can get a lot of food from just this raised bed here, a 3x6 raised bed. Another success we had was garlic chives. Those are the garlic chives over there, those wild looking bushes. I don't know, I can't really see because the sun is in my eyes, but garlic chives and basil were very prolific in this garden, especially when I got the green beans and tomatoes out of there. They just took off. But the garlic chives did much better than the basil. They, no matter what was over them, the garlic chives still thrived. Okay, those are the garlic chives, and I see that they're beginning to flower. I don't know whether you can see that purple flower at the end, but yeah. Green beans, I just mentioned those. We froze a lot of green beans. We had several harvests from them, and I only had 3 plants. So that was a good thing. And my pride and joy, my grapes. I had 2 grape plants, and for the first time in 3 years, I finally got 2 bunches of, well, I actually had 3 bunches of grapes to show up, and the dog ate him. It's a miracle he's still here. I must love that dog. But yeah, we're going to try again next year, and hopefully we'll get a better harvest each year. And I'll figure out a way to keep this dog out of my garden. As I tell you, he really gave me a run for my money. So let me see. Those are Emeryville pink grapes. They're supposed to be specially they do very well in the Bay Area. Okay. Another thing is my peppers did pretty well once I got them out from under the tomatoes and the green beans, which were stunning them. They didn't get enough sun. So those were things that you have to remember when you're planting. Are the taller plants going to overshadow the lower plants? And if so, you have to rearrange your planting. Let me see. Something that did not thrive were my marigolds. I'd lost them. They did so poorly, I forgot I even had marigolds. So their problem was they weren't getting enough light. So think about that when you're planting flowers. You want to plant flowers in your bed so that you'll have some pollinators come to your garden, but you also have to provide them with enough light. So the other thing I told you about, the peppers got stunted because they didn't have enough light. Now the banana peppers survived, but I had my jalapeno peppers, which did not do well. They just died because even though I moved them, it was too late for them. So I'm not going to plant jalapeno peppers over here anymore. If I have tomatoes, which I probably will, but not 3 plants, that was too many. So let me see, lessons learned. First, label your plants and draw a map so you'll know what's what. It took me a long time to figure out what was what because all my labels faded in the sun, and I couldn't figure out lettuce from spinach part of the time. So if you go back to my old videos, you'll figure out sometimes I call lettuce spinach and spinach lettuce. It was a mess. Also, I had accidentally put cantaloupe seeds off in there as a sort of like I just threw some kitchen scraps off in there to fertilize the plants when I put the dirt in, and didn't realize that all those cantaloupe seeds were going to start growing up. So when I was looking for okra, I was really getting a lot of cantaloupe seeds coming up, and I knew I didn't have enough room for all those. So I had to wind up pulling them out, and I probably pulled out a lot of okra seeds too, and beans. Okra, beans, and cantaloupe seedlings look very much alike. So that was something else. So if you, as much as possible, label your plants. Another lesson I learned was to cover your brassicas because the cabbage moth will eat up your plants. So it doesn't look cute, but at least you'll have some plants that aren't full of holes. They didn't bother me too much in the spring, but in the summer they tore us up, and my I had some collard seedlings that just didn't survive because the cabbage moths wouldn't leave them alone. The next thing I learned was to trellis up any of your climbing plants or tall plants like beans and tomatoes. Trellis those before they get big. Otherwise, you're going to have a time trying to keep them straight, and you'll have a time also trying to get them trellised up when you finally realize that that's what you have to do. Right, by trellising, this is my banana pepper, and it's in a tomato cage. So when my beans, which I have some green beans in the cage garden, I have put a trellis up already for them. Then they haven't even come up out of the ground, but I'm not even going to think about letting them grow up without some kind of structure. Because when I finally decided I was going to trellis up the tomatoes, it was a hot mess. It took me 2 days to get them straightened out. Another thing I learned was to plant my berries very high, because I have the one dog that loves berries. In the spring, he was doing okay because he was eating blackberries. And this is my blackberry bush here, which we cut way back for the fall. So he didn't have any blackberries, so he started eating my strawberries. And it got so bad that one day I came out here, he was sitting off in the raised bed, and he has doggy dementia, so he could get in but he couldn't get out. It was ridiculous. So anyway, I'm not going to plant any more strawberries in that bed. Nothing that will attract him to climb off in there, because I don't want him in my food. Another thing I learned, well, I haven't really learned it yet, but I'm still trying, is to stay on a regular watering schedule and to water deep. You know, it may look like it's wet on the top, but plants have roots, and the roots need water. So 2 to 3 times a week, watering for me is good, because we don't have a lot of heat here, except for maybe 3 or 4 days a year, like today. Let me see. If I could do it over again, I would get a drip system, because I'm watering everything by hand now, and I tell you, it's all I could do to water the plants. And by the time I finish watering my plants, I'm finished. It's just too much. So a drip system, any kind of irrigation system, you need it if you have a big garden. Okay, let me see. Fertilize regularly, which is another thing I have to do. Probably have to mark that on my calendar and put an alarm on my phone to remember to go out and fertilize the plants, because they need to be fed. And finally, not finally, succession plant. When my beans started looking bad, if I had some seedlings, bean seedlings to replace them with, I could have still had beans, because we still have people who are harvesting beans in my area. It's hot enough, we don't get hot weather until October So it could have been having beans, but I didn't have anything to replace them. And the other thing is like carrots. It takes a lot of carrots to, to take you through the season. So if you only had, I planted 32 carrots. So 32 carrots doesn't last too long, maybe a month if you don't eat them every day. So what happens when all your carrots are gone? So succession planning. When I pull some carrots, I'm going to have to remember to plant some carrots and keep it going. And finally, pace yourself. Sometimes I get out here in the garden and I'm out here 2 or 3 hours, and by the time I look around, I am ready to fall out. So there's no need for that. So just do a little bit at a time and then go in the house. And as I always say, maybe come back, get a soda, and sit in your yard and just enjoy what you've done. So this is the end of today's video, you guys. It's pretty long, 26 minutes or a little longer. You guys have a blessed day, and I hope you consider square foot gardening, because especially if you have a small family, it will be enough to get you a lot of food. Okay, again, have a blessed day, and remember to enjoy your garden. Bye-bye.